Dave Ramsey is completely wrong about Bitcoin, like 1,000% wrong. And I know there's just been a massive correction in the Bitcoin and crypto markets to the tune of almost 50%. But that does not change the underlying fundamentals that I'm going to argue today and why guys like Dave Ramsey and other Bitcoin and crypto haters are just plain wrong. Today I'm going to do a response video to a recent call Dave had with one of his audience members whose Bitcoin investment of $1,500 turned into over $120,000. I'm all about the opportunity to do a critical thinking exercise. So today's video is for you if, one, you're a dyed-in-the-wool Dave fan like I used to be, and you're curious about Bitcoin and crypto, but you haven't thought twice about it because Dave's apparently malinformed perspective, or two, if you've been a natural skeptic of the Bitcoin crypto space, which you should be, and you're looking for some honest analysis on how to think about it or learn what are the right questions I need to be asking about it. Now, I don't mean to pick on Dave Ramsey. In fact, he's just one of a long list of now former crypto haters that were ultimately forced to change their mind on the whole asset class. Let's get into it. It's Brad Long here with Zero Debt Coach, where we help 5- and 6-figure corporate burnouts escape their nightmare by teaching them how to organize and optimize their financial lives, obliterate their debt, and accelerate toward financial independence by starting and growing an online business. So my point is not for you to be converted to a Bitcoin crypto fanatic overnight. No, my point is to get you to know the right questions to ask so that you can ferret out the answers to those questions in a way that allows for you to, one, make up your own mind about crypto based on factual evidence, and two, not just accept what Dave says, which is either based on almost complete actual ignorance or is possibly feigned ignorance for the purposes of protecting the more vulnerable in his audience. I'll leave that part for a whole other discussion later. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video for my free guide on how to successfully navigate the Bitcoin crypto space. Either way, you yourself need to be equipped to decide this for yourself, because in my more than a decade of experience in the crypto space, I can tell you that I emphatically believe that it's here to stay, and you're going to need to know about it whether you like it or not. Let's jump over to the video.
Let me start off by saying that I believe, my opinion, that Dave and Chris Hogan probably know a lot more about Bitcoin as an asset class than they let on in this video, and I'll point out some specific data points as we go through it. Let's set up the call. This guy calls in and he says he's invested $1,500 in Bitcoin back in 2014, and it's now worth over $120,000. So with that as a setup, we'll go ahead and start the video.
I don't know, 2014, I probably spent $1,500 on buying Bitcoin, and I probably made $120,000 off of it. So it was such a small amount. I bought it and I just left it, and I never did anything with it. I know it's very risky and everything, but I didn't really put any money into it.
So just notice primarily the body language, facial scowls, especially Chris Hogan's, which by the way doesn't feel genuine to me. It feels a little bit put on. And then listen to what Dave says.
What do you guys think about that? Is
Wait a minute, are you saying you can cash it out today for $100,000?
For sure. Okay.
So by not listen to me just a second. Okay. There's a process in finance called sunk cost analysis. All right. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't cash it out today, in the morning you have reinvested $100,000 into Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. That should scare your brains out. It's not 1,500. It's 100,000. Every day you leave it there, you are reinvesting into this again.
Right.
By nightfall, dude, cash it.
So rather than asking the normal, what's your household income? How much consumer debt do you have? What's the entirety of your investment portfolio? Dave instead goes on a mini rant meant to scare the doo-doo out of this guy about the sunk cost analysis and how if this guy doesn't cash out by tomorrow, it's like he's reinvesting $100,000 back into Bitcoin, and that should scare his brains out. And, the whole by nightfall, dude, cash it. It just seems like such an ignorant, scare tactic.
Okay.
Bitcoin is
it's
going
over
bye-bye.
50% of your freaking net worth is on the roulette table. on one roll of the dice.
It's in code.
Yeah, if you.
So my response to all of this is, I try to get my students as we're going through the financial coaching process to look at macroeconomics and to start to understand macroeconomics. And so my response to this whole line of thinking is that you don't think the US dollar and all other fiat or national currencies are in code. I mean, how many of the dollars that you own, control, and use are actually paper currency? And if you're like most people, practically zero. So don't kid yourself, my friend. Your fiat dollars are in code as well. And it just keeps getting better. So here we go.
If you really can cash it out, and you may find out that this is funny money, but I hope you can.
I hope you can too.
And
run.
Man,
run away.
So I did a quick Google search when I first watched this bad movie. I did a quick Google search, and at the time of me making this video, there are over 504 exchanges worldwide that will happily exchange your Bitcoin for dollars or whatever other fiat currencies that you want to cash out all day long. How do you not know this, Dave? All you have to do is a simple Google search and find out that this is an incredibly liquid market. And let us not forget the recent IPO of the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the US, Coinbase. Bitcoin is liquid. So just do a Google search and you'll see that.
Run away.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, you guys, where, again, you're hearing about this stuff out there, and it sounds too good to be true. It is, and you got to be careful. You really do. I've talked to a lot of people that have been burned on this, and unfortunately have gone the route of even leveraged investing schemes, which is pulling money out of their house to invest, which is an absolute no-no. And so just be smart, do long-term investing. Whenever you
So, I don't disagree that you really do need to be careful. And I always say to my students, to any of my public facing content about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrencies, you have to be careful. There are many things in this life, not only in the cryptocurrency space, but in this life that appear too good to be true and are indeed too good to be true. And yes, of course, who in their right mind would ever borrow money from their home equity to invest in any asset, let alone something as volatile as Bitcoin or any cryptocurrencies? And I have a video specifically designed for complete beginners who think they want to dip their toe into the crypto space, and I'll leave that up here. And yes, people have been burned. I mean, I've talked to people as well, especially if they've done any kind of leverage investment schemes, again, like what he's saying, borrowing money from their home or borrowing money to, invest. That's never a good idea. But what does that specifically have to do with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? People get burned in non-crypto investment schemes every single day. So this is an example that Dave and the Dave Ramsey personalities engage in on a regular basis, called the straw man argument. And so the straw man argument is when someone takes another person's argument, in this case about the viability of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They take that person's argument and distort it and exaggerate it in some kind of extreme way, and then they attack the extreme distortion. In this case, just the nonsense of borrowing money against your mortgage to do any kind of investment. And they sort of imply or outright claim that this is the actual assertion that another person is making inherently. Just because someone has been scammed in a leverage investment scheme where they foolishly use dollars that they borrowed against their home to invest in crypto does not mean that crypto is a scam or that it's not legitimate. You have to ask your own questions here and not succumb to the fear and ignorance-based commentary of these guys. So in my opinion, Dave will probably join the chorus of former crypto haters, and I've got a laundry list, and there's actually a site that I'll leave in the video description below of a lot of people that used to be crypto haters are now crypto lovers.
And so just be smart, do long-term investing. Whenever you try to get rich quick, what I've found is you end up getting broke fast. And so you want to have a mindset of building wealth over time.
Yeah, I just, how is this guy trying to get rich quick when he invested $1,500 back in 2014? Very, very small percentage of his overall net worth, which, is 6 years ago. So how does that get rich quick? I mean, again, we're a straw man argument all over the place here. I mean, wouldn't that actually be considered more at least mid to long-term investing by their own definition? And I mean, isn't that like an amazing return on investment? Isn't that what we're all sort of like going for?
I hope that you can cash it out when you go to do it tonight. I'm suspect when I hear 1,500 turns into 100,000. I'm really suspect that you're getting. I hope you can. I hope you can.
So, I mean, again, unless you've been living under a rock, actually living under a rock, again, I go to the fact that there are over 500 crypto exchanges that will gladly accept your Bitcoin and give you US dollars or fiat currency back. So part of the reason I wanted to make this video is I understand that if you're just getting into the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space, there's a lot to wrap your mind around. And if you've had guys like Dave Ramsey and the mainstream financial media shaping your opinion and your perception of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space for any amount of time, you actually have some deprogramming to do on top of the education that you need in order to navigate the space successfully in the first place.
So all that to say, in my opinion, Dave is totally wrong, and I'll tell you why. I really hate to use this term, but I think in this case it's appropriate because it denotes a certain mindset more than it does an age bracket. Dave and his boomer ilk are caught in what's called the normalcy bias, and it's a dangerous trap. You see, there's a shift going on right now, and it's what I call a real-time paradigm shift, for better or for worse, away from the old financial system. Let's say you just dust off the old tried and true who, what, when, where, how, and why analysis, which I always recommend that you do, especially if you're going to put your hard-earned cash into any kind of investment. So who? Go to the Satoshi white paper, and for that matter, a lot of other YouTube channels will actually read it to you if you don't want to read it yourself. What? Again, Satoshi white paper. Andreas Antonopoulos is also a great, incredible resource to start with. When? 2009 is when Bitcoin was launched. Again, the aforementioned resources are great places to start. Where? It's kind of everywhere, so that is really a moot question in this case. And why? This is a great question that experts like Dave Ramsey seem to perpetually ignore. And it goes along with what I was saying earlier about macroeconomics and the central bank fiat-based inflationary monetary system, which is way beyond the scope of this particular exercise. But suffice it to say, Bitcoin was invented precisely because of the incessant printing of currency done by both the Federal Reserve and other global central banks. Real quick, if you're into this kind of content, a free way you can support us is by giving us a thumbs up or by double smashing that thumbs down button and leaving a comment letting us know what you had for breakfast, and hit the subscribe button if you're liking what you see. So to wrap up, here are some additional relevant points for you to consider. The number of active cryptocurrency to fiat exchanges in operation currently is over 500, which equals liquidity. So dude, you can cash it at any time you want. Another point of relevancy is companies who have adopted Bitcoin. Ever heard of PayPal, Square, the insurance company MassMutual, MicroStrategy, the Coinbase IPO, ETFs that are in the pipeline? Another extremely relevant point are haters of Bitcoin who have changed their mind, like Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan, Lloyd Blankfein of Goldman Sachs, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and dozens of billionaires. I'll leave a link in the description below of a great article that outlines many of these folks. Finally, haters who will change their minds, I believe, are guys like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and of course, Dave Ramsey. So again, this video is not aimed at telling you what you should do about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Rather, it's all about helping you develop your own critical thinking skills so that you can make an informed decision about it and not succumb to fear-based straw man skullduggery. So we're all about taking immediate action around here, so I wanted to offer you this free Basics of Bitcoin resource that will help you blast through the first few steps of this process with ease and confidence. The link is in the description below, and it's my free gift to you as a thanks for watching. How can Zero Debt Coach help you? 4 ways. 1, subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell to make sure you get our new videos every week. 2, download one of our free personal finance guides. You'll learn some of the exact strategies I teach my private financial coaching students on how to organize and optimize their finances, obliterate debt, and move on to financial independence by starting and growing an online business. 3, if you're looking for a community of motivated and like-minded people, go ahead and get on the wait list to join our private financial coaching community. We only open it for new students a couple of times a year, so make sure you get on the wait list. And 4, if you need some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need a problem solved, you want to talk through a complex situation, go to zerodebtcoach.com and click on the Become a Student button. And finally, check out one of these videos and keep on building your financial acumen. Let's make this your best year yet. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.